Samsung supposedly intends to introduce at least 4 additional foldable phones this year. And at least some of them are supposed to have a fresh variant of the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip that Qualcomm has just unveiled. The Fold 7 could make advantage of the cut-down variant of Snapdragon 8 Elite. Qualcomm has discreetly mentioned a fresh variant of the Snapdragon 8 Elite chip with the model number SN8750-3AB. Some sources assert it is designed especially for ultra-thin foldable phones. Made on a TSMC N3E manufacturing node, this 3nm chip, its 7-core CPU, has 5 high-performance cores operating at up to 3.53 GHz and 2 prime-core working at up to 4.32 GHz. It lacking 1 high-performance core as compared to the original Snapdragon 8 Elite, most likely a lower-end model with less expense. Moreover, since the new chip has 1 CPU core disabled, it will generate less heat and would be better suited to be used in ultra-slim and foldable devices. It could be used in the Galaxy Z Fold 7, and maybe even the Galaxy S25 Slim. The Galaxy Z Fold 7 are slated to go official in mid-2025, while the Galaxy S25 Slim could arrive in May this year. This Snapdragon 8 Elite will also boast the Adreno 830 GPU with support for HDR gaming, ray tracing, AI-powered frame upscaling, game super resolution, and AI-powered frame creation, Adreno Frame Motion Engine 2.1. It can drive on-device panels with QHD+ resolution at up to 240 Hz and 4K screens at up to 60 Hz. It can also drive external monitors with up to 8K resolution at 30 Hz and 1080p resolution at 240 Hz. It also supports Dolby Vision, HDR10, HDR10+, and HLG. The built-in ISP supports up to 320 megapixels camera sensors. It can take frames from a 108 megapixels camera with zero shutter lag. It can also concurrently take full-resolution frames from up to 348 megapixels camera sensors with zero shutter latency. It offers up to 4K 120 frames per second video recording and 8K 30 frames per second video recording. The ISP supports video recording in HDR10, HDR10+, HLG, and Dolby Vision formats. The NPU inside the processor employs AI to decrease noise, increase details, and conduct semantic segmentation for things like background blur. This cut-down version of the Snapdragon 8 Elite supports up to 24 GB LPDDR5X RAM and UFS 4.0 storage. It contains a built-in 5G modem that supports mmWave and sub-6 GHz 5G networks. The modem provides download rates of up to 10 GB per second and upload speeds of up to 3.5 GB per second. The chip contains built-in connectivity technologies like Bluetooth 6.0, Wi-Fi 7, UWB, and GNSS. Samsung is still the biggest foldable smartphone brand internationally, but it is losing its luster. Chinese rivals are launching foldable phones with superior features, thinner form factors, and lower pricing. The South Korean manufacturer won't back down without a fight though, as Z Fold 7 will get key hardware advancements, including bigger screens. According to display industry insider Ross Young, the Z Fold 7 will have bigger screens than their predecessors. The Z Fold 7 apparently boasts a 6.5-inch cover screen and an 8-inch foldable screen, comparable to the Z Fold 6 Special Edition. The Z Flip 7 will purportedly flaunt a 6.85-inch folding screen and a 4-inch cover screen. That is an enhancement compared to the Z Flip 6's 6.7-inch folding screen and a 3.4-inch cover screen. These upgrades should allow Samsung much-needed space to accommodate bigger batteries in the Z Fold 7. More importantly, the wider cover screen delivers a traditional slab-style phone experience and doesn't make you feel constricted. However, it remains to be seen if Samsung wants you to utilize full-fledged programs on the cover screen or wants to confine you to widgets. These bigger screens, paired with potentially bigger batteries and the processor, CPU, should make the phones more powerful and more fun to use. One thing you need to know is that Samsung will practically change the S Pen into an Apple Pencil to keep Z Fold 7 slim. Samsung is considering to tweak up how the Galaxy Z Fold 7 works with the S Pen in an effort to make the device slimmer. Samsung is on a drive to make its foldables thinner, and its first attempt to do so resulted in the Galaxy Z Fold Special Edition. The gadget was slimmer certainly, but at the cost of support for Samsung's S Pen stylus. That's because the layer required to make the S Pen operate added to the thickness. And as that gadget was particularly focused on thickness, it was eliminated. With it being a main selling point for the Fold series having S Pen input, this is something the business undoubtedly wants to fix. According to a report from ET News, Samsung is intending to convert from its present use of an electromagnetic resonance digitizer under the display to an active electrostatic tech. With both, electricity is used to provide the precise input of the stylus, but with electromagnetic resonance, it's done through the display component. As such, the item has to have additional layer which, in turn, makes it thicker. Active electrostatic, on the other hand, places the electricity in the stylus itself. This is the innovation that Apple utilizes in the iPad series, and it needs that the stylus, in Samsung's instance S Pen, must have a battery to create that electric field. That's been a fundamental differentiation between the S Pen versus the Apple Pencil. Apple's stylus requires charging, in the past in less than perfect methods, while Samsung's needs no power source to work. In theory, this should work out fine. Samsung doesn't embed the pen directly into the Fold series, so there's no problem with having to find a means to charge the stylus when it's stowed away. However, it also comes with the downside that the stylus is now another thing the user has to charge. But this modification comes with benefits, like presumably switching to a titanium backplate behind the display rather than the present carbon fiber which was utilized to avoid interference with the digitizer. Next, Samsung enthusiasts often argue that the business isn't moving fast enough to make fresh enhancements to their smartphones. In recent years, Samsung has maintained a conservative and continuous line in its smartphones. Each new generation of Galaxy flagship phones usually offers the expected incremental improvements, but without reinventing anything. Sadly, it looks like Fold 7 won't make any substantial adjustments either. It seems that Samsung has determined that 2025 is not yet the year to amaze with specs or features in its foldable devices. The business is quite comfortable progressively enhancing components, such as chip power and camera quality, via software, while working on new Galaxy AI features. Leaks about the Galaxy S25 series claim that customers who hold S24 devices won't be too impressed. Something similar could happen with the firm's next-gen foldables. In an interview with the South Korean outlet The Elec, a Fastprint executive gave his thoughts regarding Samsung's future flagship phones. Fastprint is one of the third-party companies that supply components to the South Korean powerhouse. More particular, Samsung sources high-density interconnect circuit boards from them. That said, the Fastprint executive indicated that there probably won't be any substantial modifications in Fold 7 that are coming this year. Component suppliers generally hold important information that other people can't access. So the executive's word has tremendous credibility. Plus, Samsung's recent track record goes along those lines. We might finally see some substantial modifications to the Z Fold 8's hardware in 2026 though. That means that if you want to buy a Samsung foldable phone, you might want to wait until next year. The executive also indicated that Samsung estimates the Galaxy Z Fold 7 would sell roughly 7 million units together. These estimates are low-key, so the firm doesn't expect a huge influence on the market. Recently, a Samsung executive stated that the Galaxy Z Fold 7 will feature the Exynos 2500 chip in some areas like Africa. However, the Z Fold 7 wasn't named, so it's plausible that Samsung may employ the Snapdragon 8 Elite in its most costly foldable. Samsung, naturally, comes out with a new phone every year. That simple fact, coupled with a few early rumors, has us certain that the Z Fold 7 is in the works. Since the firm unveils new phones at their Unpacked events, the Z Fold 7 release date will fall in line with next year's Samsung Unpacked event. How much the Z Fold 7 will cost isn't something we can determine this far ahead. If we presume Samsung will keep with the same pricing as the Z Fold 6, it'll start at $1,899.99. However, this year's phone is priced $100 higher than last year's, so we could be looking at a $2,000 phone next year. Given its claimed debut date, the Z Fold 7 will likely run the Android 15-based One UI 7 operating system. Leaker Ice Universe believes that when compared to all the other versions of One UI, this one will be the most altered. We could see a big redesign to the UI, featuring new icons, menus, and animations, plus a vertical app drawer. That's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates.